Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Coach Peggy Real-Time Show, a transformation coaching docuseries where I coach people for 10 weeks and you get to see what in the hell is going on in their real world. They are transparent and authentic with you, so hopefully you can learn along at home. What have they been up to this last week? They're dialing up their inner beast. We've got Catwoman, Wonder Woman, and Rocky in the house. They were looking at how they were spending their time this last week, whether it was chores, whether they were at work, whether they were spending time with the kids, exercising, whatever it was, they're really dialing in where they're spending their time. Why? Because it's important to see where you spend your time so you can figure out where you're going to spend your time to nail your goals. They also are still doing some pantry audits in the kitchen. They're exercising more. I'm hitting them where it hurts. And they're also giving themselves some stickers, double stickers this week. Why? Because we're working on rewards and recognition systems. Are you ready? Let's go. Did you guys bring something to drink?
Yes.
Always.
Always. Does anybody have to go take a leak? Go to the loo, as Faith would say. Do you have to go to the loo? Do you want a little, is it biscuit? What do you have with your tea? I'm having coffee. Is it biscuit, cracker, bread? What do you?
Biscuit, yeah.
What is a biscuit? Is it a cookie?
No, cookies like got chocolate chips, and biscuits just like a digestive or custard cream or
I don't know. I'll just sit here, freshen up while she tells us all what else. I don't know. Okay, so let's get forward. Let's get ready on our epic our bantering. Look, Faith, I've been brushing up on my English lingo. Okay, welcome back, you guys. We just finished week 1 and I gave you a lot of stuff to do, and I'm so proud of you because whether you were kicking and screaming or bloody knuckles, it was, as we said last week, it looks like you did some shit. Looks like you did some stuff because on Facebook you were pretty active. And I know this isn't a weight loss program. I know that. I told you that when we put healthy habits in place. And if you need to lose weight or gain weight or maintain weight, it happens. And you guys lost as a group a really good chunk of weight this week. And if you did, we had somebody in the group that really wasn't feeling good this week. Let the two of us raise our hands. Come on, Rita. That's right. Rita and I had some migraine issue and sickness and all sorts of stuff, almost literally at the same time. And it's hard to exercise and want to eat and sleep and all that at the same time. It's compromised. So, all right, let's get started, you guys. Remember last week I talked to you about baby steps and embracing change, not thinking black and white or on and off, all about accountability, how important it is to stay organized. Like, we want to get into some ahas, just something along the line of if you set alarms. You know, how hard was this? I just want you to I know you're keeping track of your ahas. You might even have them near you.
I did. It's something you never think about, and you probably wouldn't think about until you were in the situation. And when it hit me, I'm like, oh, shit. It's like, okay, I understand this a little bit better now. But yeah, so essentially I was walking, and I normally would go to the gym because it's a little more motivating for me because you have other people around you, you see them, you want to keep up with them, so to speak. And it was really beautiful here yesterday. So I went out for a walk and I thought I'm going to walk X amount of distance. Okay, no big deal. It never occurred to me that when you walk that far away, you have to walk that damn far to get back home. And I'm just like, well, shit.
I was like, no shit, Dick Tracy. I was like busting up on that.
But you don't think about it.
Especially when you're out and about enjoying nature. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Any other ahas this week?
Just one really. Other one that was just kind of a personal thing that I was having a conversation with someone And I found myself kind of bowing down in the conversation again and going, okay, whatever you want, and I actually stopped and consciously thought about it and made the comment to the person of, stop, I can't do that. Just don't do it anymore.
That's
So that was a
really
big
hard.
step for me.
That's really hard to do. So, Rocky, because you guys, now we have those inner beasts. Wonder Woman, Rita's in the house. We've got Catwoman, sexy little sex kitten up there. And so, Troy, did you have to pull up your inner beast? That's really what you did. You pulled up Rocky Balboa in that moment. You were in a little bit of a battle. Put on the gloves.
I was, and it was kind of a battle with myself too. I mean, that was the big thing. It wasn't so much a battle with the other person as a battle with myself and saying, okay, you need to do what's right for you. And you know what? Just stop.
That's amazing. Super duper.
Yeah.
Faith, what about you? Any of the things I mentioned, any other ahas? What are your thoughts?
This week for me, as well as sort of all the different changes, it's been sort of one of the busiest sort of weeks, sort of work-wise, personal-wise. And I think for me, it was realization that you always have a choice, and things are sort of never as scary as your mind sort of projects them to be. And sometimes you just have to make that choice just to go and do it, no matter sort of how tired you're feeling, or you just have to get up and do it. So that was sort of a big thing for me. And it's sort of that making that choice every single day just to get up and get on with it, rather than letting anyone talk you into not doing it. Yeah.
That's really cool too. I mean, that most of the time we have to do it anyway. Just freaking do it. We spend so much time in our mental muscle just going, oh, should I? Well, when am I going to? Oh, what happens if this? What? And then all of a sudden you do it and it's like 10 minutes later, it's already done. What about you, Rita, with you any ahas or thoughts this week?
One of the ahas that I had is I'm pretty hard on myself. So when this whole neck, headache, everything, in the past, I would just push through it and be like, brush it off, put some dirt on it. I'll just keep going. Mm-hmm. And it was like, it's okay to just not be able to do something. And, the body needs to heal. So you need to give yourself and allow yourself time. So thank goodness I was able to get all my testing and all that done in the morning, my strength test and all that. But by evening, it was so easy to come home and say, I'm going to sit on the couch, watch TV, put some ice on it and not do anything else. But I kept going. I did ice it, but I didn't hug up to the TV.
Oh, but let's pretend we go all the way back to last Sunday. What would you do differently if I said, let's do it again? Anything?
I would definitely push harder. I'd get to bed earlier, allow myself more, a better night's rest, enough rest.
That's a good one.
Kind of take a little bit better care of my body.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Definitely the sleep. I think the sleep factor is a big influence on me.
Okay. Love that. Love that. What about you, Faith? Magic wand. Anything you do differently or improve?
I've tried to get my exercise done in the morning, because I think leaving it till sort of last thing at night and waiting till it's cooler, I didn't have the energy, and then it was sort of really sort of more of a push to get it done.
Troy, what about you? Magic wand. Anything you do differently this week?
Probably nutrition more than anything. Food. I tried really, really hard to stay on my diet plans, and I say diet plans, but on my menus. Mm-hmm. Work was a real bitch this week, and it makes it hard. But I know what I need to do to be able to do it. I just didn't work hard enough to do it. That was the problem. Okay,
good job, you guys. Let's talk about the library. So this is perfect. Troy has, and I've looked at, so for your homework last week, we had a lot, and we're going to look at all of it today. We're going to look at your wheels, where you have your punctures. We're going to look at that together. We're going to look at your 168 hours just to get a feel on where you're spending your hours. We're going to talk a little bit about you writing down your foods and what that looked like, and kind of some other things as we go. But I want you to really think about this backdrop. Think about being in a library, the good old library that you go into when we were children, that our children and grandchildren will never understand, because all they do is Google it. But I want you to think about a book, right, or a movie. And I know you guys have probably heard me say this before, but very rarely do we read the first chapter over and over and over again. We don't. We want to go to the second chapter, third chapter. We want to go to the, might have a trilogy. And sometimes we go back and read it because it's a really cool book or a movie or something like that. But you have your own book and your own movie. And it's up here, right? So, I mean, this whole row could be Rita's. And, she's got her habits up here that are from when she was 6, and then she's got, this one's the gym. This is what she does when she goes to the gym, where she walks, where she parks, where she walks, the treadmill that she gets on. Yeah, it's in there. It's in there, right? Because that's habit. And then how long she is or what she typically does. And, this one over here, this one is Troy's work schedule, right? There's Troy's work schedule because he's kind of a workaholic-ish and he's got a job that's pretty random. And in here, that book shows exactly the habit he's going to do. Oh, I'm busy. The schedule's just crazy. Oh my gosh, my eating is off and my exercise is off. But what if I said to Troy, that's your story, man? The story. That shit ain't going to change tomorrow. If you're not rewriting it and changing the plot tomorrow, then our job is to figure out how to live in your story because that's your story until you change it. Unless you want to go in the library, go down the same hallway, the same genre, science fiction, and keep reading that same book and taking it down over and over again. I want you to think about that. We're going to be going more over habit history in the next couple of weeks, but really think about why I brought this up. Troy's kind of what you said. This week's hellacious. These are my stories too. Oh my God. I work so much every day. Couldn't plan anything. My food's off. My exercise is off. I didn't call you, Mom. So sorry. Okay. Next week. Oh boy. This week was something else. Same song, second verse. Therefore, it's really going to be about planning for you, Troy. And it's not going to be any tomorrowing. We can't tomorrow to death. For those of you guys who, did you do that? I'll just do it tomorrow, but your life isn't going to change. You can't tomorrow. If Faith knows she needs to work out in the morning, and that's her book right here, she needs to work out in the morning, right? We also talked about making sure that you're as creative as possible. That's part of the spirit quadrant and really making sure. And it's not just about talents and gifts and whipping out a trombone that you have to dust off you haven't used for a while. But it's some creativity starting to pop up a little bit when you're thinking about your habits. Or Faith, do you have anything that you're dusting off for creativity at all?
I think sort of nutrition-wise, I've always been quite creative with food. I never follow a recipe. I can make a meal out of anything. So it's been quite nice just to experiment with different foods and just try different things out.
Girlfriend, your pictures of food. I was like, every season I have someone who loves cats. And then there's always somebody who's a cook. This season, did I think it would be the same one? No, but it happens to be the same. Very, very creative. That's good. Look at your food. Hopefully you have several days in front of you because I told you to be prepared. I'm going to call your ass on this stuff. So I want you to go to, Rita, I want you to look at day 3. So whatever order you have it in, it doesn't have to be perfectly chronological, but grab the 3rd one that you have. And I want you to just read from top to bottom all the food you ate. Just read.
Okay. So breakfast, I had a sweet and salty almond granola bar, 2 cups of coffee. Well, what it amounted to 2 cups of coffee. And this is funny because I did weigh and measure out my everything. So
that's okay.
4 tablespoons of peppermint mocha coffee creamer. And then I had a small banana.
Okay.
Mid-morning snack about 10:30. I had a small gala apple.
Okay.
And then I had a 1/4 cup of unsalted toasted almonds. So between all this, I'm drinking like 10 ounces of water in between. So lunch, I had a good old PB&J sandwich. 1 tablespoon creamy peanut butter, 1 tablespoon red plum jelly, 2 slices of whole wheat bread. And 3 o'clock, I had another granola bar and 1 orange little cutie. And then dinner was, because I was being lazy and didn't want to put the work into it, I had another peanut butter and jelly sandwich. But at this time, it was only 1 slice of bread, and it was a 1/2 tablespoon creamy peanut butter and a 1/2 tablespoon of red plum jelly, and of course my water. And that was day 3.
Okay.
The other days looked a lot better, really.
Oh, that's why I'm just picking whatever. Okay. Faith, let's go with your day 3.
For breakfast, I had porridge with blueberries, raspberries, and cinnamon, and I had a cup of tea. Then mid-morning, I had a salted caramel iced latte. For lunch, I had barbecue chicken wings with beetroot and lentil fusilli with spinach and mushrooms with a cream cheese sauce and some salad. Then I had another salted caramel latte in the afternoon. And I had stem ginger and honey luxury yogurt and tropical naked. And then for tea, I had a wrap with strawberries, cherries, blueberries, orange, and raspberries.
Hey, this is awesome. This is like my favorite part of my job. Okay, well, no, that's a lie. I have so many fun. Okay, Troy, let's go to day. Let's do day 3.
You know, stay with day 3. Okay. So for breakfast, I had 3 eggs, 2 strips of turkey bacon, half ounce of cheese, and I say 32 ounces of coffee, but I have a big cup that I use that. Yeah, but it kind of lasts me a while. So for lunch, I had an 8-ounce chicken breast, an apple, and 2 ounces of peanut butter. And dinner was an 8-ounce sirloin and a handful of roasted Brussels sprouts and about 80 ounces of water, roughly.
Okay, this is great. Okay. Ahas. So let's think of, this is good. Okay, so think about the week. Rita, we're going to circle back to you. I told you just pen on paper. What did you process in your head? Oh my God, I have to write this down for Peggy. Did you change what you were going to write down? Did it make you more cautious? Did you just say, I'm just going to do it? What happened to you?
It made me more cautious, but I mean, it's like, this is what I'm having. So as I'm eating, I'm writing everything down. And then of course, after the fact, I'm like, holy cow, this is a big eye opener. Like,
yeah,
this is good. You can do better, and I have done better.
Yeah, so you're just taking a peek at it. Faith, what about you? What were your thoughts when you were writing stuff down?
For me, it was just trying to eat 3 meals a day because I don't always eat 3 times a day. And most of the days I did, but then sometimes I did skip meals, but then I was feeling it sort of in myself. So I really sort of noticed it. I was more tired and trying to keep the momentum going. It was a struggle.
You guys are already discovering some things. There's going to be about 55,000 more of them in the next several weeks. Troy, what about you? What did you feel when you were writing these down?
It was probably easier for me just because I have pre-planned menus. So it was a lot easier. However, you picked the day that I was actually in. It was a perfect day, not one of the days where I was driving for 12 hours.
Yeah, see?
It changes everything.
Everything, buddy.
Yeah. So
everything.
Those are the days that are the struggle, or days like that. So
toughest industry I've ever worked with is the oil and gas industry or the travel industry. They're stuck, they're the gas stations. Back in the day, we went to the gas station to get gas, and we had a little treat as we went along the way. If our parents let us get a Charleston bar or some Twizzlers, right? Now it's really looked at as, what are we going to eat at the gas station? It's just a much different, people just look at it very differently. So we'll be chatting about that as well. All right, you guys, I want to look at your pre-wellness wheels. So let's go over real quickly what that is again. The wellness wheel is the 24-spoke wheel that I base my whole entire business on. So I'm going to open up a document here. We're going to look at yours, and we're going to kind of go around. I'm going to explain some stuff. So here we go. This is Troy's wheel, and we've got his punctures, which are represented by the little dots. Those are the nails. So this is as if his wheel on his wagon has run over some nails, some hiccups. He's kind of taking a look at each spoke of his life and judging. If it's down here by the hub, it's kind of a 0. He's not doing too well. And if he's doing amazing, it's way out here by the tread. The bigger the wheel is, the faster it rolls, the quicker you get to goal. And the smaller the wheel, even if still round, you will get there. It just might take several hot minutes. So when we look at Troy's and we consider this round and balanced, let's pretend that he was about at the 4 mark and he was at this white mark. If he was all even right there, he'd be rolling along. Might take him a little bit, but he'd be rolling along. He's got some parts here that he's just nailing. I'll call those A's. Okay, he's really nailing his diet. Remember, diet is the plan. Nutrition is the macro and micronutrients. Though he has a specific plan he follows, he feels it could be more nutritious. So we know he has the ability to follow a plan. We just got to make sure it's as nutritious as possible for him. If you go through the body quadrant here, his exercise the first week of us all being together is a little low. His sleep's doing pretty good. So, I mean, if you look around here, medical care, preventative care, got to see a dentist, got to see a doctor, right? Got to do all medications, those types of things that are so important that catch up. Now look at his heart quadrant. That's the one that really is going to need some improvement, right? That's where he's quote unquote suffering the most. Coping skills, stress, emotions, relationships, self-care. His values are higher. I challenge him I will tell him that his values, that where they're sacrificing it to themselves, to himself. Most of the time we will be very honest and loyal to our employer, or any stranger on the street, but we won't to ourselves. All right, so this is going to improve dramatically. And then you look over here to his spirit, he's got some hiccups over here. That's pretty common when you look at work-life play balance. That's harmony. He's off. His rituals and beliefs, I don't tap into like what those are for people, but most people do know when they feel like they're connected, and they have some sort of practice where they kind of connect to whatever that is for them, talents and gifts. So if we go around here, you guys can see the point being is he's got a damn bumpy ride. I mean, it might roll just a hot, a little bit here. And then this is catapulting him into the bushes. Wah, and then he's kind of backpedaling out. Shit, damn. So this is bumpy. Agree, Troy? Was there any like woes in this when you did this?
Not really. I think it was kind of what I expected, to be honest.
Good. Okay. No, I think visually when you do it, then it's when you look at it and you go, ooh.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of like,
Makes a difference. It definitely
now
makes
it makes a difference. Because remember, you guys, I told you last week, this right here is why my phone rings. Help me. Tell me what to eat. Tell me how much to move. Nobody calls me and says, oh my gosh, I am dissatisfied at work and my house is unorganized. Can you get me back to my normal weight? They don't connect that, right? All right, let's take a peek and see how Faith is doing. So Faith is, we got some bumps. I mean, this is going to roll right here, believe it or not. That's going to roll. Cha-ching, okay, she's going to start rolling again. And then she boom, boom, boom. So, in through here, she's losing some luggage along the way. It's throwing off the wagon. She's trying to grab her pieces. No shit. So this can be pretty exhausting because she's on, off. Got it going, right? Again, I'm really excited for you guys because we've got 2 quadrants already in common between Troy and Faith. We've got to improve some of the heart quadrant and the spirit quadrant here. This is going to make a big difference when we start looking at coping skills and stress. We've got some really low sleep over here for Faith. We'll be talking about her. She's a dolphin sleep cycle. That was going to make sense. Stress is going to make sense when we talk about that next week. Faith, what were any surprises you had during this exercise?
I don't think really surprised, but I find it quite funny because I'm more stuck in my head, which isn't really a surprise. So
you are. Rita and Troy, I want to ask you, I want to hover on that for a second. Rita, what is your thought in observing your buddy? Because we're here for accountability. That's amazing that we have each other as well for 11 weeks and your super fans and all that fun stuff, but we have each other. So we're really observing each other in our private Facebook site. What is your opinion without judgment on how much Faith does stay in her head and judge yourself?
Wow.
Have you noticed some of her posts?
Yeah, I do. It's like she has her moments, but she also acknowledges like what she has to do. She's pulling herself out of that. And she's maintaining her path, and I'm proud of her for that because it is so easy to get stuck into something and go down that rabbit hole and stay there and not, you're like, I don't want to dig myself out. I'm comfortable here.
It can be a very, very lonely playground. And so just think about that. If you say that 45 times to someone, they're going to be like, shut up. And that ends up, Faith, right, being what we tell our own selves, where it's like, we're trying to sleep. It's 3:00 in the morning. Shut up. So yes, you are in your head, and it's not that there's anything bad or wrong with you or you're broken, but that's going to get so much better. And it already is. And then we've got Rita here, and hers is tickling, because that's what her wheels do, is they tickle. Her wheel is ticking right along. Her wheel is tickling. I need a feather. I don't have a feather, Troy. So we've got some very specific areas. And this, remember, is her point in time right now as we speak. Another event could happen in a month, an illness, an injury, and this whole wheel change. I like to refer that as if you would change your tires, Troy. You'll get this. When you're on the road and you're in Denver going up and over Eisenhower Tunnel in the middle of January, you might need those chains. You need to change those tires, right? So that could happen to Rita if she was off track. Her wheel might not look like this at all. We've got some talents and gifts and some creativity she wants to bring back up out into here. Relationships, we're going to uncover some of that stuff, what that can do, how we can improve that. Exercise, we're going to get back out here. Here's the point with the wheels. And we will be doing these at the end as well to see how they improve. The point is that we really want to try to get each of the spokes at least on this side of the white line. Okay, this side of the white line. Because the wheel, again, will still keep going. It's the real big dips here, coming down in here that we want to be concerned about, because those are the ones, Rita, that will catch you off guard while you're getting an A everywhere else, where all of a sudden this changes your life because maybe you didn't focus on it, want to deal with it, it caught you off guard. Make sense, guys? Yeah?
Yes.
Good job. Good job. The wheel is always there for you as a tool to do anytime throughout the rest of your life when you're just like, hey, how does this look? You might think you know how it looks, but sometimes when you put it down on paper like that, it really is more of a wake-up call. All right, so now we talked about how we really have to spend our time, because here's the thing. When we got together, we talked about how this isn't a weight loss program. We have non-weight loss goals. We have weight goals, weight loss goals. Some people want to gain weight. But we got to know where we're spending our time in order to fit in the time to achieve those goals. So what I had you guys do this week was to go ahead and fill out your 168 hours sheet, your wellness sheet. I'm going to share those with you on screen and just figure out where you were. Trust me, the average person is spending about 20 hours a week watching TV. That's like, you think, oh my God, but you really think about it, 3 hours at night, kind of chilling, getting ready to go to bed, times 7 that's 21 right there. So it catches up to you, right? Last season, I had a cast member that watched TV 80. You haven't seen that. Amy watched TV 80 hours a week. We have 168.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. We usually sleep a little. Okay. We usually sleep a little. So the point is, let's take a look at your hours here and let's kind of see where you're spending it. I honestly don't see major hiccups with you guys. Now, I could sit back and go, okay, did they just try to, did they modify this week already to do the best that they could do? These are their timesheets from after the docuseries started. So maybe their exercise was 0 before, because I actually asked you to do this for last week. So when I'm taking a look here at Rita's, we've got some work hours here. I'm happy with her sleep. Look at this, you guys. Her sleep, 7 hours straight across, is really consistent. Very happy there. And then we've got some social life here that she may or may not want to improve. We can, discuss that as we go. Self-care stuff here looks pretty good. Nothing major sticks out to me. Rita, what were your thoughts when you did your hours?
Well, the week before, the TV time would have been a lot more.
Okay.
And the exercise, honestly, I wasn't doing, I do some stretching right before bed and maybe a few crunches and whatnot. But the week before was total chaos, a total mess. So this was good to see where, and I still feel like I'm spending too much time on TV. I could be using it elsewhere, more time at the gym or socializing more or something, but yeah.
Okay, Faith, what about you? What are your thoughts when you did this? Anything stick out to you, or did you make some changes that the week before wouldn't have had or would have had more hours?
Absolutely, yeah. Because I wasn't doing I was doing sort of a couple of days of exercise, but nothing consistently. And generally sort of the rest of my time was spent on the internet. I think sort of it highlighted to me as well that I don't have any sort of social life at all. I don't sort of have any sort of time for me. So
when you go back and compare them to the week or two before, you'll start to find these books again for yourself where you're like, it's really hard to admit in the social media book back here and TV book, it's almost hard to admit to yourself that you do social media or gaming or whatever. I have a client right now, he's 18 years old, and it's about 7 hours a day that he's gaming. And it was really hard for me to dig that out of him. But luckily, at that age, they don't really know what's good or not healthy or not healthy. You know, it's like, oh, about 5 or 6 hours. And I'm like, are you sure? Well, maybe 7. And I'm just going, oh, he has no clue. This is not a good thing. So as adults, though, we get embarrassed, right? Okay, I hear you. Okay, then we have Troy's, who was just so beautifully done, you know, typed out. Troy, did you make major modifications last week when you filled this out in comparison to the week before?
Not a lot. Exercise obviously changed a little bit. But other than that, no, I think it's really pretty accurate as far as a normal week goes.
Nice. Okay.
Again, the work thing fluctuates a lot, but other than that, no, it's pretty accurate.
Okay, so let's just hover right there for a second before we move on. Right there on the work thing. Troy said several times that there's some inconsistencies. There's some things that he can't plan ahead. So that means that he has enough data to know there's inconsistencies and he can't plan ahead. I mean, he has more data than I work 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Okay, that's your consistency. Troy, I have an inconsistent job. I work a lot of hours. Okay, that's his story. So we have to then dissect it even more now for you, Troy, and start to look back at the history. Are there certain days? Is there certain location? Where are places to get the best food? Can I bring a cooler? What time, do I have to work out on the weekends and nail it because I can't work out any other day? That has to be dialed in for you. If your profession isn't going to change, that's your story.
And it's not going to change.
Yeah.
It won't. It just won't. That's just the way it is, unfortunately.
I get it. So, but the good thing about that is we can't blame it anymore. So you work too much. You're blessed to be stressed to be blessed. Get over it. Don't care. Right? I mean, can't stand it. You could get a different job. You could go say hey to everybody at the state park. You might make a lot less money and have to move out of your house. But the point is that we could. So you're choosing your path. You're choosing your story. If somebody has 7 kids, they probably wanted to at least have 5. Don't tell me you're busy and you have kids. You can't do anything. You chose to have kids. You have 8 dogs, you have 8 dogs. What's your problem? Well, they're so expensive. I don't know what to tell you. So that's just get rid of it. Let's deal with it. I gotcha. All right. How are you guys feeling with the amount of homework that you had last week?
A little overwhelming at first.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot. Other than work, I want your screen time in its entirety, social media platforms, with the exception of hours together with this journey, to be 50%. Really look at it even from last week if you can come down, okay? Whether you log your foods ever in MyFitnessPal or not, right now we don't want to do that. And you'll see why as we move along. You've been doing this last week. You've been just writing down your foods. Rita did a little bit of her portions. She did a little bit of time without saying it, breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, snack. You guys did track your water, 64 ounces. So this week you go 1, 2, 3. Each tick mark represents 8 ounces. So your food will be here. Your water will be here. This week, I want you to start to reduce by 50% any alcohol, and you can play with these games with anything. 50% of your sugar. If you'd like to play with dairy, you'd like to have a week where you reduce some wheat, you reduce some red meat. I'd like you to start to play. These are what I call experiments. When you do these experiments, it's important to do them long enough to see how you feel. Do you feel less bloated? Do your migraines go away? Are you less of a jackass? So whatever you pick, document how you feel. Okay? This page is 1 day. So you can print them, duplex, and you're going to do one for every single day. What else are you going to do? Anything on here that you want. Hours slept, super important. Okay? your weight, awesome. If you want to start doing this, I'm going to be pushing you to do more and more each week on this document. But it's up to you how complex you get this week. It's up to you. If your focus word this week is like, be nice, positive. Focus words are awesome. Self-care, exercise, how are you feeling today? And then a wellness grade, okay? A through F is your A through F, not Peggy's, right? Say my A is working out 3 times a week. That might be an F for Rita if she worked out 7 times a week. And just start to look at what is your, because remember, I want to really make sure you guys get B's, right? I want you to get to a B. So if your mindset is a D this week, you didn't exercise at all and it was a D, just start to take a look at what those things look like. What are your thoughts on this, Troy?
I like it. Yeah. Again, that's the one thing from last week that I really realized that it really does make a big difference when you write it down. You can actually sit and look at it and look at the data and see where you are excelling or failing. It makes a huge difference.
Once we do these and you guys are able to lay them out, I'm going to teach you over the next few weeks. Doesn't mean you're going to have to do these forever, just like any of my tools. Once in a while, you'll do them like this. And there's something about writing it down and looking at it visually versus going ahead and putting it in here, which this isn't bad. This isn't bad. But find me an app that you can put in your emotion and some food experiments and also accompany the sleep, and then down here, self-care, and a focus word, and a macronutrient, and a test up here where I'm going to sit and chew my food 25 times. That'll make me more mindful. Don't do it with your porridge. Very sloppy.
Would you like a bit hot tomato? Little porridge. Oh.
Which is oatmeal, you guys, if you don't know. See, I've been studying. And that's why when I created this, right, I had a client, and I'm not even kidding, who kept her food logs for a year and sent them to me. Not kidding, via email. One of the main reason was it was accountability tool for her. But I'll tell you what, we nailed her goals beyond nailed her goals. And it's because of this. When you write down your foods and you have a bunch of carbs and you're not sleeping, and down here you see an emotion of being a jerk, a complete jerk to everybody. You're like, I'm mad, I'm depressed, blah, blah, blah. And over here, you're not doing anything for yourself. There's no Epsom salts bath. There's no massage. And up here, you're drinking a shit ton of alcohol and feeling horrible. All of these logs, you start to look at them and you can go back 2 or 3 days even and figure out, why isn't this weight shifting? Well, for 3 days, I didn't sleep. Well, for 3 days, I had a bunch of carbs. I had no protein. For 4 or 5 days, I've been a D over here, and I didn't even think about being nice. It is the most beautiful story written out for you to dissect. It's data. I told you that last week. I am data. It's like, it's where all the answers are. It's the secret sauce. So this is what we're going to do this week. Okay, is you're going to go ahead and you're going to track that 7 days. We're going to take a look at it. We're going to see what you uncovered. And I'm going to get more and more, require more and more from you each week so I can teach you more. What's a macronutrient? How many grams do you need for your diet, for your exercise plan? That type of stuff. Are you having enough protein? Oh my gosh, you're really sore. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're not drinking enough water because you had too much protein and your tummy hurts. So we'll start to look at all of that fun stuff. Okay? Feeling good?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. It feels like a lot right now, but it's going to just start to lay itself out and be more of, the work will be more of the self-discovery piece, the more of the emotional piece, the more of just digging stuff up so that you can get the dirt to line why you don't end up in the same place again, right? Definition of insanity. You keep doing this shit, you're going to end up in the same place. I don't mind if you call me every year, but call me to just say you're doing great and the grandchildren like got into Duke. Don't call me because it's the same goddamn story over and over. All right, another thing that we're going to do this week is we're going to amp up your fiber. Okay, fiber keeps us full. Fiber makes the microbes in our tummy really happy. Okay, we need 25 grams of fiber a day. I can't even tell you how many people don't eat 25 grams. So I'm going to give you a little chart, pretty little chart, some pictures. You can cross them off to make sure you know what has high fiber, just a little fun thing. and make sure that we get your fiber up. You'll feel a lot better. You'll feel a lot more full. You'll actually have more energy. It's going to be amazing. Physical fitness, the last one. Did you notice I put that last one? It's always the main reason everybody calls. All right, physical fitness this week. For this week, one more week, we're going to keep your baseline activity. Remember, those are your maxes of what you do in a minute. We're going to keep those the same every day. And then last week we said we were going to do cardio, 20 minutes or so more. Good, every other day. This week we're going to have to amp it up to 30 minutes every other day. Okay? But you get 2 stickers. I just cracked myself. You get 2 stickers, Troy, if you go over 30 minutes and you do it 6 days this week instead of every other day. I know we have some teachers' pets in here already because one of you, who I won't mention, Rita, went ahead and already started measuring her food. Faith measures her food. These people who kind of amp it up. You know, Troy will come in on another subject probably and go like the end. I think you all are teachers' pets. It's going to be interesting. Down the road, we'll be figuring out if you're teachers' pets or if you're terrible 2 toddlers or people pleasers. We'll be looking at that. But I think I got some teachers' pets in here. All right. Thoughts? Faith, what are your thoughts this week?
I need to get organised and just make sure I'm set to get my exercise done in the morning.
That's right. That's right, Faith. Get organized. I've been telling you. If this is worth carrying for a while, if there was one thing I would want people to listen to me about when it comes to health and wellness is to stay organized. That is the number one thing. If you just set your alarms even, right? First thing we start to learn to do is dismiss our alarms. We don't for a meeting. If you have to show up to see your president in a meeting, we don't go, hey. We even do that for our medicine. Take your medicine, 244 every single day. I'll get it 315. Now I'll go. If you set your alarms, you put your stuff in the same place and don't wait to do it. Do the tough things when you have the most energy. Don't put the hard shit off until you feel, don't put your exercise off till evening if you don't like to do it or want to do it. Are you mental? Don't say mental, Peggy. Are you crazy? Don't say crazy. Are you silly? Don't do that. Do the tough stuff when you have the most, and you have a cup of coffee in the morning, you're just like, yeah, go for a walk or a run right then. Later, when you're feeling like this, that's when you have an ice cream. There is one more thing, though, that we're going to do this week, too, in terms of the food and the food audit and the food. When you look at the foods in your house that are tempting, if it is alcohol, if it is sugar, if it is salt, right? Usually you're a salt person or a sugar person. Some people are both. I really want you to start to reduce them by 50%. The boxes, the food that is in boxes or packages, I want to start to shift you guys to real food, plant-based food. Just start to try to get rid of that stuff. Like, I don't need that stuff that's in a box when I could eat this. If you're really starting to eat out of boxes and packages for the sheer convenience of it, you can find some time somewhere else to not have to eat 79 cents worth of blank, because that shit has no nutrients in it, you guys. We're filling up our pie hole for just whatever. So this week is to really reduce it. I want you to start to think about being a food snob. And this is the last thing I'm going to leave you with this week. What do I mean by that? Really start to think about when you're moving and being active and focusing on your wellness, when it comes to food, what do you really like? What does it taste like? Where is it made? How would you eat it? Would you get a placemat? Would you have a coffee? Would you heat your donut up? Would it be at 2 o'clock? Would you have it? Get super snobby about the foods you like, where they're made. Don't have tempting foods in your house. I can't. I still have conversations with myself, you jackass. Don't go get a big bag of M&M's. You think you moderate. Do that. If I want M&Ms, I'm going to go get a small package. It's not going to stay in the house. It's 1 or 2 servings, and that's it. I have had so many conversations with myself. I am not the moderation queen, and I'm the moderation queen. So don't do it. I don't care if the cake is $6.99 and a piece is $2.99. Get the piece of cake. You're not going to be strong enough. Get a little pint of ice cream. Don't get the gallon. That was collection. All right, Rita, let's close it up. How you feeling this week? Going into this
Feeling
next
good.
week.
Feeling good. Feeling good.
How's
Gonna
one
nail
work doing? You're gonna nail it. You feeling good? Feeling healthy? Neck feels good? Okay.
Yep.
All right, good job. This is amazing. Okay, Troy, what's Rocky gonna do this week? Like,
Look at his time more. That's the one. I got to work on the time thing. How to work around the time that I have. So
you have a piece of information that is critical, and that is to probably you want to fit your life into your work schedule. Sounds crazy, right? Because most people are like, well, can you fit your work into your life? Oh, no, you can't. You have one of those jobs. It could be a 13-hour day, it could be a 10-hour day, it could be an 8-hour day, but you know that information. So I'm just going to tell you is I want you to look at your time and go, where do I pull this piece of wellness and this piece of wellness into my timesheet? And to recognize it is not going to change. If your book is not going to change for your profession, you chose it.
I did.
Yeah, time. Okay, yeah, you're right. Faith, what about you headed into this week, Catwoman?
It's more prioritize myself and get organized to make sure that I can get my nutrition regular and get my exercise done first thing. Because I've started off, I've got sort of, I'm motivated. It's just I need to get sort of the underlying foundation in just to support that.
I'll tell you what, I've ever had anybody tell me that they regret working out when they did. Never. They're always like, oh, thank God I did that. Oh, thank God I got that in. Ever. Right? People will say they regret what they ate. No one ever regrets, unless they get injured or something like that. But you guys are doing a really good job, and it's baby steps. It's knowing that you're taking advantage of this time together, not waiting it out. Not putting it off, not tomorrowing yourself today. There's no Monday mulligans. There's no do-overs. There's no restarts. There's no nothing. We're in a wellness war, battle after battle after battle. We'll regroup. We're hunkered down, weapons out, defensive, okay, offensive. Takes both. All right, good job. Glad to see you this week. See you next week. See you on the inside, the outside. Ciao. Bye, guys. Say goodbye, everybody. You've been watching Coach Peggy Real Time, a transformation coaching docuseries, and we are so grateful that you come back each week to support the cast, and hopefully you at home are absorbing some of the strategies and tools and improving the quality of life that you have, and maybe you'd like to hop on over to Coach Peggy Real Time, a Facebook group where the cast is sharing some of the experiences they're having, and we'd certainly love to hear about yours. If you would like to be a part of upcoming seasons, or you'd like to be a part of Coach Peggy Real Time groups, which is not public, you're going to find that information at coachpeggyrt.com.